Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So Adrian Broner, again, back in discussions, right? This time, we know he's training for an upcoming fight, but Adrian Broner went to Twitter and was kind of, reaching out for help from Floyd Mayweather, saying how he needs help with this boxing game. And the thing is this, right? Adrian Broner and Floyd have, Adrian Broner says it's a little brother, big brother relationship, right? Floyd doesn't say that. That's Adrian Broner saying that. But there's been so much back and forth between, really coming from Adrian Broner's side about Floyd Mayweather, and just all the stuff that Broner has been involved with. A lot of bad the last, pretty much his whole career, okay? To come now and be involved in all of these out of the ring antics, legal issues, losing fights, slamming Floyd Mayweather, cussing at Floyd Mayweather, asking Floyd to fight, always getting on social media, taking things personal. Floyd voices his opinion on Adrian Broner. to go all of these years, right, to where your relationship isn't the best. Obviously, they like each other, okay? But to come now when everyone has turned their, because a lot of people have turned their back on Adrian Broner. Now, do you think people have a right to have turned their back on Adrian Broner? I can understand how that happened. Just to be real with you, can definitely understand how people are like, let me not take a step back from him. Let me take 10 steps back from him because he's controversial. I like Adrian Broner because what you see is what you get. And it's not often you meet people like that. At the same time, I myself would step away from Adrian Broner too. If I was in a guy like Floyd Mayweather's position. Floyd has a lot of positive stuff going on, okay? This man is out here. He's got Mayweather Promotions. Leonard Ellerbe is running that. We can all have our opinions on whether we think his promotional company is successful or not. But the bottom line is, whatever formula they have in place, it's working, okay? Floyd Mayweather's out here doing exhibitions. This man keeps generating money. He's, I know for a fact that there's some, he gets paid to promote things, millions of dollars, okay? So Floyd isn't the guy that's gonna have Reebok behind him, Nike behind him, but he's getting paid millions of dollars, sometimes just to wear something and walk out for an appearance. Okay, these are facts, right? This isn't something I'm making up. So I think although Floyd doesn't have those endorsement deals, 5, 6, 8 year endorsement deals, Floyd Mayweather is still, I don't know if he's making as much in the paid promotion that he gets for wearing logos and stuff, but I'll put it to you this way. He's not missing out on much. He doesn't talk a lot about it. Floyd Mayweather is making a lot of money. But at the same time, to come now and get back involved with someone like Broner, you don't want your name attached to that because you just don't know what you're going to get with AB. Is he going to walk the path straight and narrow, or is he still going to be out here being involved in chaos and just, creating confusion? If Adrian Broner can return to the ring, walking a straight and narrow path, let's say for 2 and 3 years, and get back to his winning ways. And with Adrian Broner, it doesn't matter who he fights at this point. People are going to support him just because he's Adrian Broner. He's fought hard fights, but give himself a couple of years of I would say easy wins. String about 4 or 5 easy wins along, walk in the straight and narrow path, and you watch what happens with AB, what happens with endorsements, what happens with sponsorship, what happens with people. They're going to gravitate towards him. AB could definitely be on his way to being a billionaire. He's very entertaining. But at the same time, Floyd Mayweather, AB getting back to his winning ways, walking a straight narrow path. That's about the only way you're going to see Floyd, I think, really want to be kind of reattach himself to Adrian Broner. Floyd can't afford to misstep, not at this point in his career. He's got something great going with this, with these exhibitions that he's doing. He can't afford to miss out on an exhibition, especially like in the Middle East, in one of those countries where they're really big on their brand, their culture, their country, and have a guy like Floyd be with Adrian Broner, who gets caught up in something with some woman. Something can be sexual, it could be any type of abuse, any abuse, anything that falls underneath the abuse umbrella, right? And I'm not saying that's all Adrian Broner brings to the table. Adrian Broner, there's a lot of good in Adrian Broner, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're just talking about to get Floyd and other people to come and help him in times like this. He's done a lot of things that has put himself in this position. But for Floyd to want to be fighting in the Middle East in these countries and to be with Adrian Broner, who you just don't know what else he's going to get into, I can't afford to be attached to someone whose name just got caught up in something like any type of abuse against a woman or a man, all right? Anything dealing with violence. Then you lose out on those opportunities to go and fight exhibitions in those quote unquote like taboo countries, okay? They don't want that. They want Mayweather, but they don't want that. And then those countries are already trying to escape from underneath a dark cloud, okay? Because there's human rights issues and different things. Why in the world would you want for anyone to come over there and you pay them a bunch of money to have a fight and they're attached to something, some kind of violation that people across the world feel that you guys are committing in your country, and are you supporting the guy? You see, so I know that Floyd Mayweather is not stupid. His team's not stupid. There are other boxers who are doing well who aren't stupid. There are people outside of boxing and other sports and entertainment who aren't crazy. They like Adrian Broner, but sometimes I think that people at a point just want to love him from a distance. But if he wants to get Floyd Mayweather to be somewhat involved in this upcoming return to the ring, a simple I'm sorry. Now we know Adrian Broner's I'm sorry may not carry much weight, but I think at this point in his career, man, I think he's gotten a wake-up call. I really do. I think he's gotten a wake-up call, man. When you start losing your family, wife, kids, money, friends, business opportunities, and you know that world, man, your world gets small real quick, and then you look inside, man, that little bit of bubble, and it's just you. No money, no big house, no cars, no flashy this, no about billions, no nothing, no friends. It's lonely, and depression hits you, and you can't leave your mind behind. And then we start dealing with the stuff like Adrian Broner was posting about, like, led us to believe he may be suicidal. And I'm gonna tell you, it's rough, man. But if you create your own misery, you got to find a way to get yourself out of it, okay? And that's what Adrian Broner needs to do. And it starts by being accountable, looking at yourself, taking a deep breath and blowing it out and saying, you know what, I effed up. Doesn't mean everyone's going to immediately, want to run back towards you, because it just doesn't work like that. You just have to have patience and understand the situation you created. And that's what Adrian Broner created with a lot of people, but especially Mayweather. There was an incident where Floyd voiced his opinion about Broner, being at Walmart and, the whole thing with the money. And Broner got on social media and started cussing Floyd and called him all kind of names. And in that clip, Broner was saying, talking about how Floyd, that it was allegedly, three-pieced his wife or hit his ex-wife, and Broner was just saying, I don't comment on that. So Broner was being petty. But that's not the only thing that has happened between the two of them. Okay, but what I'm doing is just giving you an example of something where I think Broner should have not gone to social media and took a stab at Floyd because he was, having this emotional knee-jerk reaction. Like, that's just not what you need to do. And then you look now, he kind of needs him. But at the same time, I'll say this. This is for Adrian Broner, and I think a lot of you will agree. Just because you're thirsty, right? And you may feel like you're dying of thirst, and you see this person coming down who you despise or you don't like, and you know they don't have good intentions towards you. That doesn't mean if they offer you water to drink that you drink it. You know what I'm saying? You could be dying of thirst, but that don't mean you drink water from anybody. Because they may be giving you something that you drink that puts you out of your misery a lot quicker and kills you. Okay? So don't drink from everybody, or they add to your misery. All right? And I'm telling you that from firsthand experience. If it was bad enough for you to walk away from, stay away from it. Okay? Because you miss out on all future opportunities if you start turning backwards, going back into the past. Leave it there. Unless you know you did something wrong, you know it's all 100% on you, then you want to right those wrongs. But still, you may be in a different space in life, but that person may not be. And when it comes to, I think just about everybody involved with Adrian Broner, I think a lot of people are just kind of tired. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with his return to the ring. I'm just not sure what to say about AB, but if you look at the videos on Adrian Broner from when he was a little bitty kid, you can see that the right structure wasn't in place for that young man growing up. I mean, you can just see the way he talks, the way the way he acts. You can tell he's been exposed to a lot of things from a young age, which a lot of us have been, but he's just a product of his environment, man. He got a lot of money at a young age. Wasn't mature, wasn't responsible, and I think it messed him up. I think this is one of those situations where money didn't really help a person or the situation. Adrian Broner's gone on to brag one time about how he blew like $1 million in like 3-4 days down there in Miami, hanging out with his friends. $1 million in like I think it was like 4 days, like a week, 4 days to a week, something like that. Renting expensive autos, luxury vehicles, and just, blowing money, and just, girls, and just, enjoying life as a young man. But I'm sure he's sitting back looking at that now. I don't think he has any regrets because he enjoyed himself. But you can't help but wonder, if he would have done something different with that money, where he would be. I'm sure he thinks about it. He may not say it. But Floyd Mayweather, I think a simple apology would get Adrian Broner, get Floyd to at least say something to him. But for Floyd to come bring him in the gym and train him, nah, Floyd's not doing that. Floyd's too busy, man. Plus, he's not doing that, And I think once Adrian Broner, the first day Adrian Broner doesn't show up for training or something like that, or shows up late, Floyd's going to just, dead him in his tracks. He's not even wasting time with him. But I like Adrian Broner. Hope he gets back to the ring. And the reason I like him, I don't agree with all his antics outside the ring. But that man, from what I've seen, because they put all the negative stuff out about him, right? But what they put out about him as a father, I respect that. I love that about him, because this man is all about his kids. From what I've seen, I've never heard anything bad. Even the girl ups and downs with the women in his life, that man is always about his children. So for that reason, I'm not saying he can't do any wrong to me, but I'm always support this guy for that. I'm not going to support the BS that he has going on, because wrong is wrong. But I'm always going to be like, I hope he gets it together, because there's a lot of men out here who are all about their children, right? But so often, you hear about the women kind of get an opportunity to slam the men. Sometimes the men need to have attention drawn to them, being horrible examples to the children. But Adrian Broner in other areas, he's struggling. But as far as being there for his kids, I've never once heard anything negative about him when it comes to his children. So for that, if we're going to talk about the bad, let's talk about the good. And to me, that one thing alone, when it comes to him and his children, it carries a whole lot of weight and can overshadow a lot of the other things. Let's just hope he gets it together, because his window of opportunity for being great in boxing He's already reached that milestone, but to continue that, it's closing. And some may say it's over, but I think it's closing, and it's closing rapidly. He's not getting any younger. He's inactive, but we'll see how he looks in his return. He's begging for help, so obviously something's not going right. So we're going to see how he looks in his return. I'm still optimistic, but if he wants help from Floyd, I think the first step is really a genuine apology, and then being consistent, being professional. That's the only way it's going to work. That being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Shout out to all the veterans, and as always, I'm in the breeze.